Okay, we'll get started at 7 o'clock. Welcome, everyone. This is Santaquin City Planning Commission meeting. Hopefully we're all in the right place. And it is Tuesday, April 22nd, 2025. All right. Commissioner Nixon has volunteered to give us an inspirational thought to open.
Yes. So this is a quote by Henrik Ibsen, and he says, "A community is like a ship. Everyone ought to be prepared to take the helm." And I just really like that because I think we all need to contribute and take a part in it. If we have opinions and things we want to say about it, I think it's a team effort and a community effort to kind of steer that ship every once in a while. So I like that.
Well said. Thank you. All right. Would anyone like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance tonight?
Trevor can do that.
Thank you.
Please rise and repeat the pledge with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Hoffman. Okay, here is the agenda for tonight, and unless there's any feedback, I think we'll proceed in this order. But first, of course, we will start with the public forum. I will open the public forum tonight at 7:01. There's no one here, but would anyone like to offer any comments during the public forum? All right, we will close the public forum at 7:01. And we can move right into agenda item number 1. This is modifications to affordable housing requirements in planned unit developments.
Okay, this is our last code amendment for moderate income housing. This is another density bonus option for developers in planned unit developments. If they build 10% of the total units to the minimum unit size, then they can have a 6% density increase. And that would fulfill strategy 5 of the moderate income housing. Excellent.
Okay. Yeah, we talked a little bit about this in previous meetings. So, okay. That is the proposal. Thanks, Aspen. We do have a public hearing on this agenda item since it is a proposed code amendment. So let's take care of the public hearing now. We'll open that at 7:02 and invite any comments. Okay, we will close the public hearing at 7:02 and we can move into discussion.
Remind me, has this strategy, we've already had all of our strategies approved, right?
Correct.
And so then we're just correcting it to go with what we've had approved. Okay.
Yeah. And there was a similar density bonus that was approved like 3 years ago. And so this is just another option.
Okay.
Yeah, good question. As usual, our job is to make a recommendation to the City Council on this proposed code amendment.
I'll make a motion if we're ready. You guys are ready?
Any other questions or comments? All right, let's
Okay.
do it.
I make a motion to recommend approval of the proposed code amendment, which modifies moderate income housing density bonuses within the planned unit development, the PUD, to meet a moderate income housing strategy.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Nixon. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Moak. Any further discussion? All right, let's vote. Commissioner Tolman.
Yes.
Commissioner Hoffman.
Yes.
Commissioner Wood, yes. Commissioner Nixon.
Yes.
Commissioner Moak.
Yes.
Okay, that is forwarded with a positive recommendation and it is unanimous. All right, let's move on to agenda item number 2. This is amendments to site plans and annexation processes, also a proposed code amendment.
Okay, the biggest thing with this one is we're just removing the flow charts for subdivision, site plan, and there's 2 different site plan review processes. And then we updated the language for our site plan review process. And this is just to meet current operations, which the site plan language is what we've been using for the last couple of years. So.
Looks like a big change, but I think it's pretty straightforward. Okay. As with the previous agenda item, we have a public hearing on this one since it's a code amendment. So let's move forward with the public hearing, which I will open at 7:05 and invite any comments. All right, then we will close the public hearing at 7:05 and we can move into discussion.
I just have a question. Were the flowcharts just difficult to understand, or are they not correct?
So with the flowcharts, we have updated ones on our website, but we figured it would just be easier to update them on our website than if there were ever changes needed to be made to go through and do a code amendment every time.
Oh, okay.
Another reason is the state has been changing the processes of subdivisions so often right now that then we don't have to do a code amendment for the flow charts every single time they do that. And so it'll make it a little bit easier. We'll still have them on the website.
Yeah, I do actually like the flow charts, but as long as they're still accessible, I think it's a good thing.
We didn't want to get rid of flowcharts.
Right.
We all
We're
like the
not
flowcharts.
anti-flowchart here.
Do we reference that then in the code to reference flowcharts on our website for them? Or you guys just direct them?
Oh, it's not written in the code, but it is found on our website, and then in Citizen Serve, where they like submit all the applications, it's
Okay.
also referenced there.
Okay.
And we also, in the code, in the subdivision code, we list a process there too. So we have the flow charts, but we don't reference it in the code. If there's anything dealing with a subdivision review process somewhere else in the code, we refer them to our language that we worked on about a year and a half ago,
Okay.
where it's located in the subdivision regulations in Title 11. So we don't refer to any flow charts anymore, but we refer them to the site plan, which is what we updated today, site plan process, and then the subdivision process within the code, but it's all written instead of a flow chart.
So, be clear, yes, we're getting rid of flowcharts. In the code.
Out of the code.
We
Yeah.
can still use it as a tool on the website, but getting rid of the flowcharts is not going to be in the code anymore. And part of that too is sometimes with the written explanation of the process versus the flowchart, there can sometimes be open for interpretation and discrepancies in exactly what the process is. Most people, most developers we talk to don't even look at the flowchart. It's really, they depend on us on helping and guide them through the process. So just to be clear, yeah, this is removing the flowchart from our code. We can still use the flowchart as a tool on our website, but yeah, this will be removed from code. And like Ryan said, part of it's just there's so many changes, and we just felt it was good to not have that open for discrepancies with the language and the flowchart.
I think that's good. I think as long as they can see it somewhere, but it's not in the code, because that's frustrating to keep changing the code with every change that happens. So.
Yep, that makes sense. All right, any other questions or comments on this proposed change? Okay, we need to make a recommendation to the city council. Would anyone like to make a motion to that effect?
I'll make a motion to recommend approval of the proposed code amendment, which removes flowcharts and modifies site plan process language.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion by Commissioner Tolman. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Nixon. Any further discussion? All right, then let's vote. Commissioner Moak,
Yes.
Commissioner Nixon,
Yes.
Commissioner Wood, yes. Commissioner Hoffman,
Yes.
Commissioner Tolman.
Yes.
Okay, that is forwarded with a positive recommendation and it's unanimous. All right, we can move on now to agenda item number 3. This is a proposed code amendment related to property line adjustments and stuff.
Okay, with this one, we'll be amending the subdivision regulations to meet Senate Bill 104 specifically. The biggest thing is we will be including definitions for boundary adjustment. They have a simple and full, and then boundary establishment. With a boundary establishment, the city approval is not required. It's just between the property owners for like an overlap or a gap. And then the simple and full boundary adjustment, a full is needed when it affects like public property, public utility easement, or public right-of-way, and it requires a survey map. And then both boundary establishments have to be reviewed by the city before they are recorded with the county. And then there's also there's a couple like plat changes that just like with the timing for noticing and then when a public hearing is required. But those are the biggest things with these.
Okay, thanks, Aspen.
And with the plat, that's specifically for plat amendments. So not final or preliminary plat, that's specifically for plat amendments.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay. As with all of our agenda items tonight, we have a public hearing. So let's do that now. Open the public hearing at 7:10 and ask for any comments. Okay, we will close the public hearing at 7:10. Commissioners, any questions or thoughts on this particular code amendment?
Is this all change that's required by the state?
Mm-hmm.
So there's not really much we can do about it either way, right? It was just we're trying to be up with the state.
Yeah, there's not like any like major changes. The biggest thing with like them changing the boundary establishment and boundary adjustment is it replaces the lot line adjustment. Instead of differentiating between parcel and lot, they're just focusing on like boundary changes. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Good question. Okay, we need to make a recommendation. Does anyone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to recommend approval of the proposed code amendment, which modifies how property lines can be moved to meet state code.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion by Commissioner Moak. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Tolman. Any further discussion on this one? All right, let's vote. Commissioner Tolman,
Yes.
Commissioner Hoffman,
Yes.
Commissioner Wood, yes. Commissioner Nixon,
Yes.
Commissioner Moak.
Yes.
Okay, that is forwarded with a positive recommendation, and it is unanimous. And with that, we will move on to agenda item number 4. This is a proposed code amendment regarding multifamily development dumpster requirements.
Yes. Okay, so this is a request mostly from the city to require dumpsters for multifamily developments with 3 units or more. Police and fire have just had issues accessing townhomes with so many individual trash cans, and then with the utility department, they have to create individual utility accounts just for trash. So this would simplify by requiring the dumpsters.
Okay, very good. Thank you. It's code amendment. Oh, go ahead, Ryan.
And real quick, the reason why we decided to do the 3 units or more for the dumpsters is currently we've been doing this for about 2 to 3 years. If you have at least, if a building has at least 3 units, you're required to have a master meter for the water. And so we thought it'd be good to do 3 units for the dumpster because then they don't have to create those individual accounts for just a trash. For just the trash, but it matches what we currently do for our master meters, the water master meters.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, let's go ahead with the public hearing now, which I will open at 7:13 and invite any comments. Okay, then we will close the public hearing at 7:13 and discuss. What was the previous requirement? Was there a requirement for dumpsters versus bins, or was it just completely up to the developer?
They just had the option to use either
Okay, you
one.
could do either. Okay.
I'm curious, who would pay for this dumpster?
Would be the HOA.
HOA.
Because
But-
usually HOA.
Yes, and usually there is an HOA. Do we have a minimum HOA requirement? Because I thought some fourplexes don't have to have an HOA, or do they have to now?
Well, they're gonna have a master meter, so they're gonna have.
So now they're gonna have to have the HOA. Okay. So I just want to make sure that that's,
And that master meter we've had for several years. It's in our
Nice.
standards and specifications manual. So for a couple of years now, if there was any fourplexes built, they had to have that master meter.
okay, perfect.
Just because I'm curious and because I didn't know there was a requirement for an HOA with a master meter or how that works. How does that work? There's one meter and then everyone is required to split it evenly? Is that how that works?
They can, after that meter's installed, they can divide it any way they
They can
want.
subdivide it if
Yeah.
they want to
Yeah.
with separate
The
meters.
city just goes and reads the 1 meter and gives it to
Here's
the
your
billing
bill.
party.
Gotcha.
The billing party can divide it however they want to divide it.
Okay.
Yeah, so once it gets past that master meter, like Drew said, we're not really involved. They can they can do it however they'd like.
And so now they'll have to split water and garbage. But they aren't required to do like snow removal and lawn care. They can each individually take care of that. It depends on the HOA. Okay. Okay.
Very good. All right.
Then-
What else? Any other questions or concerns?
Great.
Yeah, looks good. It's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we need to make a recommendation.
Does this affect just from here on out? So we don't go back to townhomes right now?
That's right.
Just any development that starts here out?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, that was my only question.
No, it's a good question. All right. Does anyone want to make a motion?
Commissioner Wood, I'll make a motion to recommend approval of the proposed code amendment to require dumpsters in multiple family developments with 3 units or more.
Thank you. We have a motion by Commissioner Hoffman. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Moak. Any further discussion? All right. Let's vote. Commissioner Moak.
Yes.
Commissioner Nixon.
Yes.
Commissioner Wood. Yes. Commissioner Hoffman.
Yes.
Commissioner Tolman.
Yes.
All right. That's forwarded with a positive recommendation, and it is unanimous. Okay, agenda item number 5, we need to review the minutes from our last meeting on April 8th, 2025. Any concerns or discussion about those minutes? And if not, does anyone want to make a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the meeting on April 8th, 2025.
All right, thank you. We have a motion by Commissioner Tolman to approve. Do we have a second?
I can second.
Second by Commissioner Moak. All in favor? Yes.
Yes.
Anyone opposed? Okay, those minutes are approved and it's unanimous. All right, commissioners, staff, what else do we need to talk about?
So for next meeting, there is a chance we may have a preliminary plan, just depending on if they get the last few red lines addressed in time. It is a commercial subdivision over south of Maverick. There'll be 5 lots. That'll be going in there. So there's a possibility we'll have that on the agenda. And then just to make an announcement. So this is going to be my last planning commission here in Santaquin. Some of you are aware, some aren't.
All opposed?
Yeah.
Yes.
But I am going to be going back up to the county to be their long-range planner. So it is a career change, and it's also to help me out with some family things that are going on. I'm taking care of some family, and so it helps me do that too, because they live up in Provo. So this will, my last day is on Friday. So.
Okay, well, we're sorry to hear that, but we wish you well.
Yeah.
Okay, commissioners, anything else? All right. Anyone want to make a motion to adjourn?
Yeah. I'll make a motion to adjourn at 7:18.
Okay, we're adjourned at 7:18. Thank you.
It's pretty cut and dry.